Hey friends, Jason for TheChartGuys, taking a look at our TCG ticker requests. These are tickers that members of our community have asked me to cover, and this is what we do all day, every day. We love doing analysis and charts, so check out TheChartGuys.com. Tesla is the first one. We've been covering this one a lot, so it's all marked up on the old chart here. What's important right now is that we lost 1420.98, and we're heading toward 1366.54. What's critical is this beautiful little trend line, as you can see, has been respected yet again, and now we're seeing a lot more bearish follow-through. Having lost 1468 and 1420, seeing some considerable downside. And what we're going to look for is the bulls to hold 1366.54, look for a little bit of an oversold reaction to the drop that we've seen over the last 24 hours or so of trading time. And we're going to look for an inside bar break, hopefully a little bit of a bounce. This is what we alluded to in last week's analysis. So we're going to go the hourly time frame. What we're going to look for is for this to be a low, and we're going to look to change the hourly trend. If we can get that done, then we'll see the bulls moving back up toward that trend line. Right now, what I need to see is a bull break over 1439. That will put us well on that trajectory. We may establish a more concrete level in our pre-market session tomorrow, or if we fail to set anything above 1439, we'll give ourselves a little bit more clarity as to what that level will be. We're just going to be looking for an hourly downside continuation because we are getting lower lows and lower highs. Ultimately, looking for that 1366.54 level to hold. If that breaks, then, well, we don't have a heck of a lot of support. We moved really quickly through this territory. So let's see if the bulls can hold that. If they do, I would look for my next support in the area 1311. But let's see what the bulls can do. Let's go to the 15-minute time frame. Take a look at what that bounce looked like. Certainly got oversold here. Nice little recovery. Hourly time frame also oversold and recovering. So let's see if we can get a higher low over that level. If we can do that, then we're be in pretty good shape. I'm interested to see what the bulls are going to be able to do with this. Microsoft in the daily time frame. This is interesting because we had a really strong daily uptrend, and then that sort of vanished here with this miniature daily downtrend. We get a gap up, and now we are seeing some continued downside pressure. So what we're anticipate would be another parallel line, something like that. And forgive me for the drawings because they're pretty crude here when we're jumping through time frames. But we can see that we have an overall downside pressure with lower highs, lower lows, and then we've moved up and we've hit another area where we're seeing lower lows and lower highs. So we've almost jumped up a bracket, but we're continuing inside this downtrend. Now, if we can go clean that up, let's see what this works out to looking like. Sometimes it works out nicely, sometimes it just doesn't. Let's go. It's always interesting to pick your levels, what you're going to draw on, because I've only got 2 touches here. Basically, what I'm looking at is the fact that we get ourselves a little bit of, well, it's getting a little finicky on me now. I should have stuck with those yellow drawings. They looked like they worked out a little bit better. The point of what I'm trying to make here is that we can have an uptrend on the daily and 4-hour, then we get into a 4-hour downtrend. Now we've run up into a new area of resistance, still setting lower highs and lower lows. We can have these little parallel lines where we run into continuations, almost like we create little channels where we can replicate these zones of support and resistance, where we can move into one, see a resistance, come back down, establish a higher low, move into another one. And they're a little bit hard to predict, but once we can see that we have a resistance that we like, we can utilize that. What's important here for the daily time frame is that we had a daily counter trend. So this is daily downtrend counter to the overall trend we've had recently. We've gapped up. We're seeing a little bit of downside pressure. We need to change the hourly trend. That's really all there is to it. On the hourly time frame, we are hitting lower lows, lower highs. We are in a drop into a descending or ascending triangle with pretty clear resistance of where we are now. A nice little bounce, not yet hitting our EMA 12. So what I'm going to look for the signs of this little trend changing is going to be a definitive hourly trend change for the bulls. Right now, bulls need to stay above 206.35. Then we need to see an hourly higher high, higher low. If we can do that, then we're going to be in good shape to change the hourly and the 4-hour trend, which is what we need to do to resume the overall daily. Otherwise, we are looking for continued downside action. And ultimately, we're going to look for low support around 199 psychological. AAL, this one is pretty interesting. We saw ourselves a couple green days of strength. We had an indecision doji candlestick. We had an inside bar bull break. If we go to the 4-hour time frame, you can see that doji, that indecision, finally getting a nice move. Now we have the potential. Some people look at this and say, yeah, 4-hour bull flag maybe, but there's just not a lot of data there. What we do have is a pretty nice and definitive hourly uptrend. Beautiful hourly higher lows, higher highs. All these consolidations are nice and healthy. What we're going to look for is an hourly higher low over 1258. And we also have some short-term hourly support right at 1373. If bulls can stay above this level, defend it in early action tomorrow, they have a good possibility for continued upside. That would be a beautiful extension of the stability and strength we're seeing right now. And if we get a couple more of these little candlesticks, I would look at that and say, I'd be more inclined to call it a 4-hour bull flag. However, if we lose 1373, that is not so bad in the long term. In fact, it would be better because we would have an hourly drop. We would establish a 4-hour higher low over 1258, and that would give us a more sustainable trend on the 4-hour time frame for daily continuation. If we just see a straight up ramp up and bull pressure out of the gate tomorrow, that's going to have our RSIs overbought, and we'll put us on a collision course with that 1429 barrier without really having taken much time to consolidate at all. Best thing we could possibly do, 4-hour higher low into a test of 1429. That's it for today, guys. Hopefully that was helpful, and hopefully my little experiment drawing those Microsoft trend lines made sense. It's really important to play with your charts. Do some drawing, see what fits, because sometimes you can tinker and talk yourself out of something that you incorrectly visualized. Anyway, that's it. Have a good day, and we'll check in tomorrow on these tickers.